Hello, welcome back. Tonight I will continue to talk about the book of King Paimon. It is, as I've said, my masterpiece, King Paimon. It's a grimoire written in verse about the story of King Paimon. It is called King Paimon, Lord of the Endless Silence, the Lord of the Abyss. And it is a grimoire. It is a special genre that has to do with spiritualism, occult knowledge, higher type of knowledge, or you can pretty much put it in any genre because can be even seen agnostic in a way, so it's like I didn't search so much into the thematic to say, well, King Paimon does fit in all thematics in one way or another, but the most representative is that it is a grimoire. The grimoire carries, of course, as I said, the genre of the book, or it has to fit to the subject of the book. So there's a reason why I chose to write it in this form, and why the grimoire is the perfect solution, or the perfect book for a subject as King Paimon. No? So one has to understand first who King Paimon is, and that's why I wrote the book, to understand his history, to understand his heritage, to understand the way he talks, the way he is, what his wisdom is, or what his teachings are. So it is very much based on King Paimon, as the title is. He is the main character, and wherever from the story point we go, it is a longer story. It always focuses on King Paimon. So this too has a meaning. In this book, everything has a meaning, One can understand many things in the way that King Paimon is able to show. So it's like one comes to realization by himself or herself, this type of feeling, because the King Paimon teaches the things are already in front, in your reach. You don't even have to beg or, stretch too hard. It is already there where you need it. So there is this feeling of King Paimon, as I've said, is first most a king, so he has the good nature, the abilities of a true king. So the kingship, or the kingman craftship of King Paimon. There's always to say the elevation of King Paimon is a very high level, but it's just a part of who he is, and he has many different facets that I try to speak in my recordings. That's why the most interesting, of course, is to read the book. But the recordings too have a connection with King Paimon that is connected to the book, of course, or to my work in general. I have written other books that are inspired by King Paimon, but the King Paimon is a book in itself, in herself. So it's almost like what was my first grimoire to write, was my first book in this genre, and it is my masterpiece. It's the book I worked the hardest. It is more than 700 pages, and it is, of course, fitting to a subject as King Paimon. In another book I don't have to write 700, but in King Paimon it was essential that it was this number of pages. I didn't expect when I started to write it came large like that, and it is beautiful because it gives us a bigger spawn in the life of King Paimon, or in his teachings, and that, to say, the door of King Paimon does not exist, that the door is not there. One can go freely and learn or be taught by King Paimon, And so, well, even there are certain requirements, or certain type. They say, well, what is the reason, what is the intention, what things you want to improve in your life. Say, well, even by reading the book, it does answer many of those questions, or it does reveal, of course, not speak only about the poetic or the lyrical beautiful art of the book. It is a very beautiful book, but it has different layouts for different purposes as well. Me as author, I know the intricate part of my book very well, but I don't want to describe it. It has to be decided as an individual path or journey towards oneself by reading a book, or finding in that book parts that resonate. So my work has been done by writing the book. That's the book. There is no discussion necessarily to justify why and so, but it's a form of understanding what goes in a book, what genre it is, who is King Paimon, what are his abilities, what he represents, how he talks. There is every book, every grimoire has its own voice, has its own rhythm, it has its own stance, it has own voice. It is not the same, even if the recipe is the same. No, and so well, it's a grimoire. I write in verse. I take this subject to the other subject. The work itself is the same, but I focus on the elements, like I know when the book is ready, or I know the book can be continued, of course, but there's a point where I say that's the book, no? And in the case of King Paimon was, like I said, 700 pages, even more. So it was a large manuscript to work on, but it went very well, very fast. It's almost like I said, I received the help of King Paimon by writing this book. I had the different visions, and then I created a text. Now the story came very fast, and because I like the story so much, I focused very much on the work. And later I wanted to still talk about King Paimon because his teachings are very important. I created this playlist where I record and I talk about King Paimon and different practices, or different meditation, or different type of knowledge, of course, no? So you see, everything goes like in three at least. So there's a ramification of knowledge in the belief of oneself first, no? They say, well, you can learn through yourself. King Paimon says you can get there through yourself, you know? So it is not like there's a saying, thank God the journey is long, no? And King Paimon is there to help. It's what I want to say. King Paimon is a very benevolent. He wishes well. He helps wherever he goes, wherever he passes. King Paimon, even just him being there, already helps the people. It is his magician abilities and magical power. Of course, they say, well, if one he is who he is, it's not about stating it as a fact, no? It's not the magic itself. The true magician acts without being stated or even not be seen, no? So we have to think in different terms when it comes to King Paimon to have a full range and understanding of him. So everything I say, it is earned, it is true. This is King Paimon. There is no mistake in my description. There is no mistake in my book, no? And that's the feeling where I say, well, the book is finished. I want to let it in that form exactly as it is. There comes a point, no? And the process of writing the story was very interesting. I was playing music at that time, so I was very much on the lyrical musical journey. I was focusing on that, and then I was playing a few instruments, you know, and then I had immediately a vision with King Paimon that came to me unexpectedly, and then another vision which I had with him, which I included in the book. As I say, I include everything in the book. And then those visions were very beautiful. It had dialogue or not. They were quite different as well. And those visions inspired the story of King Paimon. Of course, after the entire story, it is my own creation. It is my own work, 100%. It is a new idea. It is what I have created. No, it is a story in a story, in many other stories. It speaks about past, present, and future. As I said, everything comes in three, at least when we speak about King Paimon. That too has a meaning. So he works with numbers, he works with patterns, he works with sound, with light, with dark, he works with silence, he works with the darkness in the form of the abyss, no? With that void and the silence. He has a particular way to work or to express or to give that knowledge. It is not necessarily only with languages in human form. To say it, even that is the magic trick or the magic power of King Paimon, to know how and what and when. This is not to be discussed, this is to be understood, no? And say, well, he is a sovereign and he decides. We say, well, King Paimon is mostly non-active, but they say, well, he doesn't have to act in a certain way. He doesn't need to follow any rule because he is king, no? He gives the rules. He is a good king. We say there is a difference. There is always elevation which comes with King Paimon. Not to say what is true can be proven to the question in the mark of the first answer that it is true back to the question. So you can check if it is correct, no? And say, well, King Paimon this part 2 appears in the book with his voice, where he says, "Don't walk away from me. The abyss may whisper." You know, there is a certain to say, well, what are you running away from? No, he said he is king. So everything has to be interpreted not necessarily as is written in a logical, mechanical way, but in a way of already understanding who King Paimon is. And once you read the story, you understand the weight of those words, or his kingship, no? And that is very, very strong in the book. That's a very large part of King Paimon is that adoration, no? To say, well, King Paimon is a true king. King Paimon is a good king. King Paimon is a wise king. King Paimon is a wise, you know, so it has, or a wise magician, or it has many different facets. But they say, well, that's wrong, because that's not to say you still, one doesn't get the wholeness of King Paimon. So, well, that is the mastership of him as well, because he has no end, he is eternal. So in the book that appears too, where he meets the girl and they go through the desert, she asks him a lot of questions, no, or a few very important ones, and he shows the way he thinks, or the way he sees himself. So the dialects are very simple, but they carry a lot of weight, because King Paimon, he doesn't have to, how to say, he is already that what he says he is, no? So there is no mirror. There is direct contact with King Paimon. He's very direct, and there's a strict teacher as well. No, so well, a good parent is a strict teacher in the meaning of not like allowing the development, no, but the help and the improvement on that work, and the intelligence behind it, the wisdom. And I said King Paimon carries a lot of this wisdom, but there is a specific wisdom, the wisdom of the silence, the wisdom of the void, the listen of the story, or the music, no? There is like the wind and the song, or the desert, the sun and the night. These elements of 2, 3, and say sometimes 4, sometimes 5, sometimes 7. It does have few changes, but the concept remains the same, no? And I will say that his energy is more conservative, more focused on the knowledge part. He is a serious king. At the same time, he is eternal. Sometimes he looks even as an eternal child or eternal man. He is eternal, no? So a big connotation with him are the books. He always carries a book, or he always is accompanied by music, by his tribe. There is a certain, as a king does, no, a certain number of people that are a part of his entourage. As a king never goes alone. So you say everything what I have created in King Paimon, it is as real as it can be in representing King Paimon in all different facets that I have included. Everything has a meaning. Why the story contains the story of the sands, the story of the mirror, the story of the girl with the song, with the music, with the wind, the story of love that develops after, no? The eternal aspect of King Paimon. The transformation, and say, well, these two are just a few steps in the book. As I've said, the story goes even further. But the point is that there is a deep connaissance, or how you get to know King Paimon through the book. And I know that there are people who like larger books. This is definitely one of that you can enjoy a story for a longer time, that really captivates you and really interests you. It is a story like that. So even if it's a large book, the story evolves and transforms, that it is an interesting read until the end. It doesn't have to be, as I said, King Paimon, there is not a certain way how one has to read a book. Something like that does not exist. But the book is, well, it has different aspects now. So it is a larger book, it is a grimoire. It speaks about King Paimon, or he speaks a lot through the grimoire, part of the history, and the different dialogues that happen between the characters. but a large part of the book King Paimon talks, because that's very representative of King Paimon, of his wisdom, of his teachings. He always talks. In my visions, either he's totally silent or he talks continuously, reading or recitating from books. And the aspect of music is the same, very important to King Paimon. As I said, numbers, sigils or patterns or magician elements, no, or water, song, wind, music. So it is very much in this direction, no? So it was perfect for writing the book. I felt it like an honor. I felt it like I wanted to do a very good job. And then my connection with King Paimon transforms in something I didn't expect, you know. And say, well, there is a connection between me and King Paimon that's very strong, and it is something I want to keep all my life. It is part of my I say life or memoirs. You say the books are all my books now are part of my own creation, my own mind, my own work, my own idea. And I like to describe too the process that it helps one to go in this place or get the same result or have the same book, or you know, it does create a space that one can learn, which is I think a beautiful thing. And the book you can find on Amazon International. It's called King Paimon, or you can check the description link in my box. There you can find the book. And yeah, as I've said, it is my masterpiece. It is a very beautiful book. It has you know, different aspects which are interesting from many different points of view. And of course, they say, well, you either love King Paimon or you don't. No, there is no you either love a book or don't. Finally, it is a simple solution. There is, you either hate it or love it, or you know. But I love King Paimon book very much, as I said, from all my books, or in general any books that I will write in the future. This is my masterpiece because it speaks about the subject very close to my heart. And it gave me so much. It opened so many doors for me, or understandings, or just beautiful the book, the creation of itself. And even if it was a certain amount of work, I was very happy to invest and to finish the story and bring it in a form that it is quite special, no, and unique. Thank you so much for listening. I will continue another time. There are different recordings in my playlist about King Paimon, where I talk about different subjects, the same way connected to the book or to King Paimon. And yeah, thank you so much for listening. Until next time, bye.